I'm a huge supporter of Israel, and I know that we can take the UK-Israel relationship from strength to strength.
Well, that explains a lot. She's running the wrong country. She thinks she's running Israel. It's no wonder Liz Truss been getting it so wrong. Now we know why. Liz Truss, the huge Zionist, shouldn't she be saying she's a huge Great Britanist? So we'll be taking a look at Liz Truss's Britain on the 4th of October 2022. It's The Beautiful Truth with Fintan Dunn, and yes, Russell Brand identity may be gone, but you still have me. He's wimped out after his stuff was censored by YouTube. And, for 1 week, that's all the ban was. I mean, in my own case, I'm just back from a 2-week ban and celebrating today the previous strike, which expires today on the 4th of October. Poor old Russell Brand identity, scared away. But not to worry, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, this channel has been stomped on so many times, it's a wonder I'm still here at all. But I'm not going anywhere. It's only getting interesting after all, with World War III just being declared on both sides. And so it's something to cover, isn't it? And we're going to get to the World War III, but let's start with the far right, with Giorgia Maroney. And, you know, I was sceptical at first when they were calling them the far right, you know. But they are. Look at that. Wow, they're so tiny, so far away. It's amazing. What? Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, they're a lot nearer now. Yeah. Whoa, they're quite near, in fact. I think we have to call them the near right from now on. We got that one wrong. But don't you go getting Georgia wrong, because Georgia ain't on our side. Georgia's on some very interesting sides, and they're not us. When you dig a little bit deeper into her background, of course, it has come out that she's been associated with the Aspen Institute, which is a prestigious institute funded by the brightest and the best corporations attached to the Central Intelligence Agency. But looking a little bit more closely at that, it was, as we see here in the Italian press translated here, just a year ago that she enrolled in the Aspen Institute. Wow, wasn't that a prestigious move and a sudden meteoric rise? And one of the people responsible for that is Adolfo Urso. Adolfo Urso is a former Minister of Foreign Trade in the Berlusconi II government, and he's the one who connected her with the International Republican Institute, the IRI. Founded under the aegis of Ronald Reagan, it is a reference point for the moderate old party. It is inspired by the figure of the late John McCain. Excuse me, back again. And Mitt Romney and Marco Rubio. Yes, she is a rhinoceros. And she's got a foreign minister in the Monti government directing her foreign policy, which of course, as you've probably picked up, is anti-Russia, anti-China. Now, if we look a little bit to the background of the International Republican Institute, we see that in fact they have become very active in Italy in the last year or so. And one of the reasons why that's so interesting is because this is how it's done. Here's an interview with the director of the Europe program, under which she became incorporated into this. Its mission, of course, is to spread democracy. Spread democracy. Its mission, in fact, is to make sure that the right kind of people get involved in politics and rise to the top of it. So, when it comes to Giorgia Meloni, I'm more interested in not so much all the years that she spent running a party that had 3 or 4% support, but how that suddenly moved from that to 30 or 26 or whatever support. So, let's turn to the war, World War III, that is, because the war in Ukraine is over. It's well and truly over. The war in Ukraine ended with the accession of the 4 southeastern territories into the territory of Russia, and with the mobilization of the 300,000 by Putin. But that war was signed, sealed and delivered, because those moves are primarily defensive by Putin. It was signed, sealed and delivered in an aggressive way with the takeout of the pipeline. And the takeout of the pipeline, as many people now know, was accomplished using US forces and was an Anglo-Saxon maneuver, as Vladimir Putin himself has explained. That pipeline attack is a painful awakening, but a wonderful one. And I think it's, in terms of the long-term prognosis for all of this, it's the most beneficial thing that's happened in the entire course of this ongoing confrontation, which is playing out in the middle of Europe. Absolutely fantastic outcome. The first thing that has to be said about it is that it's an admission of defeat. It's a stunning admission of defeat by the Anglo-Americans, that they did not any longer have the political ability to keep the spigot turned off at the German end of those pipes, because there's open revolt now among people in Germany who have a brain. I mean, there'd have to be, because now it's becoming apparent to everybody that this is not a war between Russia and the United States. This is a war between the United States and Europe. In particular, it's a war between a particular cabal in the United States and the rest of the planet. But as someone trying to awaken Europeans to those realities, I'd expected that I would be on a sticky wicket there, that I would be a long time trying to persuade people that our great friend and protector, America, defending us from Russia, was actually in the hands of a cabal who was out to destroy Europe and any competitor to it globally. I expected that nobody would be prepared to just take that on board. There's just too much to take on. And then we got the gift of this. Then we got the gift of this attack on the pipeline. And everything's changed now. The globalist neocons had already lost their war in Ukraine months ago. And they were losing, had lost the political battle inside Germany and losing it across Europe, knowing all of that. So it was a pure act of desperation, an attempt to show power, but actually an act of desperation to do what has been done. And when Germans saw those lifeline pipelines being cut off like that by a supposed ally, condemning them to dependency, well, the scales have fallen from too many people's eyes now. And now the neocon globalists have lost Europe as well. They've lost Europe. Europe is going to quietly rebuild those connections with Russia. Europe is going to quietly rebuild those pipelines. And Europe is going to quietly tell the NWO to FKOF. That's what it's going to do. Carefully, methodically. And it's not just Europe that they've lost now, the neocon globalist, as others start to ponder if maybe things like Turkstream pipeline are vulnerable to this kind of attack, and the many pipelines and infrastructure projects all around the world which have until now been sacrosanct under international law, despite whatever conflicts might be going on. The rest of the world is figuring out that this is a rogue element that they have, a rogue element which will stop at nothing to achieve its aims, and just has stopped at nothing. Of course, the globalist neocons have been at war with the world ever since 9/11. But in terms of the active phase, we're now moving to a period when the most intense focus of this geopolitical battle is this confrontation, which was unspoken and hidden for so long, but now rendered visible, a confrontation between the cabal in power in the United Kingdom and the United States and Europe. The cabal has neither the capability nor the interest in militarily tackling Russia head on, not possible. But you have seen the ruthlessness which they're prepared to deploy in pursuit of their ends. And it wasn't just a threat to Europe, it's a global threat. But the most proximate threat is that there will be financial war whose ruthlessness will match what you've just seen. A ruthlessness which will condemn, it's likely, people to literally die this winter in Europe. And so I've said before that the increasing interest rates in the United States have got nothing to do with issues of inflation, where we are dealing with long-term systemic problems, but in fact are designed to help accelerate the financial pressures on the globe and help bring about the kind of financial circumstances which will enable them to wage not just energy war, but financial war as well. But these are complex political dynamics playing out here. The complexities of popular resistance to these agendas in the United States, and now, something we hadn't seen before, a surge in growing resistance to and an awareness of what the real battles are in Europe among people who wouldn't count themselves as tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists and probably wouldn't get banned off YouTube in a million years. Welcome to World War III, folks. How these complex dynamics play out will determine the future of our peoples in the United States and Europe. And it is an awareness and foreknowledge of this fact is why I have so closely been following political events since the mid-90s and of course especially since 2001 in the USA. Interesting times ahead, folks. We'll be covering it all here. And again, I'd just like to thank YouTube for the care and consideration they show to me. Realizing that I've been doing a lot of work putting out the truth. They said, dude, doing so much truth telling, why don't you take a couple of weeks off? Wish I had. Ended up only taking, a few days off here and there because I did, I've got this alter ego on Odyssey. Posts there under the name of Fintan Dunn, looks just like me, says outrageous stuff that I wouldn't dare say here on YouTube. But he's been there on the Odyssey channel. He's been doing stuff. You could go and check that out. I couldn't even possibly link to it, to be quite honest. But I still have my informedconsent.ie website, which is rather sober, and that breakfornews.com website, that other Fintan Dunn guy, he's full of conspiracy material. The whole thing. He's going back years. There's just no stopping him. Fortunately, I'll be keeping it, sober and respectable here-ish on YouTube. All the news that's fit to print on YouTube, but more and more available to you in other places that remain unmentioned. In fact, that little thing of Liz Truss and her Zionist thing, I got that on this WhatsApp group, which that's where I got that, because you can get actual news there. Because, thanks Jason, in the group there had posted it there. So why don't you come on in if you've got interesting stuff and let us know about it too. And we'll certainly incorporate it in the material here if it's as revealing as that. So that's a wrap for this edition. And do check out our interview with Bianca Cobain yesterday, if you didn't catch that. It's an epic interview looking into mind control, how to break free of it. And do check back. I'll be back with more soon on the developing World War III, the real World War III, the one you probably won't get reported in the mainstream. Well, you definitely will on Fintan Dunn, wherever you can find him, wherever he is not banned from. And I look forward to your company, wherever that is, very soon. I'll be back with more. Look forward to seeing you then. But in the meantime, for breakfornews.com and informedconsent.ie, this has been Fintan Dunn reporting. See you soon.
you.